What is going on, guys? Week 13. Let's go. Can you hear me all right? Alex, Cole, Josh, the early morning people, how's it going? Just submitting my last lineup here. Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Cole. How's it going, everyone? It's great to see you all. Cole, Brett, Austin. What's up, guys? Noah. Austin, my name is actually Sam. It's a classic mix-up. I built an algorithm. I named it Walter. We live, baby. Week 13. Great winning morning. That is right. How you feel about Julio? Austin, getting right to it, man. I feel fine about Julio Jones. I think if you have him, you got to be starting him. Good morning, guys. You're here early, Johnny. Cam or Carr? Andreas, I've already gotten that question 5 times this morning. And I've been saying Derek Carr. It's obviously a really hard decision. I would lean Derek Carr. And guys, if you're here early, hit that like button really quickly. It takes 2 seconds and it can help us get more people later on. So just hit that like button. Thank you for being here so early. I'm going to get to all of your questions. The perks of showing up early is I will get to your questions. I'm going to go live on TikTok as well soon, which usually leads to some more people joining YouTube. But YouTube's where it's at. It's less spammy on YouTube, which is great. Just like the stream. Thanks, Alex. Mostert or Hunt? I'd lean Mostert. Honestly, this week I think Mostert's a great play. Yeah, Grayson. Deebo Samuel can be consistent. Pittman, Ayuk, or Chark. I would probably go Johnny, I would probably go with DJ Chark, then Pittman, then Ayuk. I think you have a real tough choice between Pittman and Chark. I don't think you can really trust Ayuk at this point. In a non-PPR, I'd probably lean Chark. Never bench Terry McLaurin, of course. Start Aaron Jones or McLaurin this week. Asked you on TikTok, but won't want to ask again. I was first like. Thanks, Ryan. Start Aaron Jones or McLaurin. Both. You got to start both of those guys, Ryan. You got too good of a team if you're deciding between those two. I would probably lean towards McLaurin, but I think Aaron Jones is going to have a great week. Happy Sunday, dog. I liked. Thanks, Kevo. Appreciate it, man. Happy Sunday. Best day of the week. I'm pumped for Sunday. And you guys are the early morning squad. If you come back today around 1 o'clock, you'll see me still going strong. You'll see that I actually gain energy throughout the show, throughout the live stream. It's very fun. You'll see, come back at 1. I'll probably be screaming into the mic, telling people to start Julio Jones. Dorico, if you come back, I'm probably going to be screaming at people to start Chris Carson and Raheem Mostert. I think both of them are really good options this week. I would probably lean towards Chris Carson, though, just because he's in the better offense. Kamara for Chubb. Yeah, I'd rather Chubb at this point. Pick one: McLaurin, Julio, MT, Justin Jefferson, Zach. Why you got to do this to me so early in the morning? You're going to make me pick one out of those 4 players? I think if I had to pick one, it would be McLaurin, then Julio, then Justin Jefferson, then MT. And I know MT did pretty well against the Falcons last time. I'm pretty all aboard the Falcons hype train today. I think that the Falcons are going to win that game. And I'm not sure it's going to be a good day for Taysom Hill and the whole passing attack for the Saints. Latavius Murray or Kamara? Oh, Martin. God, I understand the rationale between going Latavius Murray over Alvin Kamara, but I can't get myself to do it. And if we look at what other people are, I think we have them projected really closely in the WalterPicks app. Let me actually pull this up because I'm interested to see what Walter is saying on this one, because I've seen this one a lot. Latavius Murray has been better over the last couple of weeks. Alvin Kamara has -3 receiving yards over the last 2 weeks. That's by far the worst span in his career in terms of receiving. He's not getting any receiving work, and it lowers his ceiling and floor significantly. Obviously, we all know Alvin Kamara is a far superior player to Latavius Murray, but we have Latavius Murray. We still have Latavius Murray projected far below Alvin Kamara, and I think you got to go with Kamara. Because I know it's going to suck when you have Alvin Kamara in your lineup and Latavius Murray does better, but it's going to suck way more when you have Latavius Murray in your lineup and Alvin Kamara does better. That's my rationale there. David Montgomery or Kamara, Caden, I'd be okay going David Montgomery. We knew Montgomery was going to end up being this really great asset at the end of the fantasy season, and this is exactly what he's turning into. So good job holding on to him or trading for him. Yo, I traded Evans and Zeke and got Jacobs and Renfro. How did I do? I also have Godwin. It's a fair trade, Johnny. Honestly, Jacobs and Zeke are in a similar situation right now where you're not too excited about either of them. And obviously Jacobs is injured, so I don't love the trade. CEH or Gurley says New Orleans is number 1 against running backs. Yeah, Austin, the Saints have a historically good run defense. One of the best run defenses of all time is the New Orleans Saints this season. I really don't think you can be playing Gurley. And the other concerning thing with Todd Gurley, which was the big concern going into this season, is the knee. And the second I saw him pop up on the injury report with a knee injury, I basically X'd him out of all of my lineups. He's done. He's done. Todd Gurley is done. He has a knee injury, the lingering issue he's had for the last few years. And apparently he's going to be back today. But against a historically good Saints run defense, you can't be anywhere near Todd Gurley today. Clyde has obviously also increased risk, Austin, but I don't think he's as risky as Gurley. I'm very happy. No problem, Austin. I'm very happy I got rid of Galladay and Hilaire for Landry and Hunt. Yeah, Andreas, that was probably felt like a risky trade at the time, but was a good one. Charlie, Jefferson or Julio? I'm already seeing a bunch of Julio questions on the TikTok live, and I do trust Julio Jones today. I think if you have Julio Jones, you have to start him. Good morning. I do think, though, that Justin Jefferson's one of those guys that I'm okay starting over Julio Jones. Justin Jefferson, to me, and I got a lot of pushback for this, to me, he's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. He's the most efficient wide receiver in the NFL this season. He leads the league in yards per route run and yards per target. And he's up against an awful Jaguars team today. The Jaguars, guys, Kirk Cousins is going to have a day against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars have all of their secondaries injured, and they were a bad secondary to begin with. Yeah, I was leaning Jefferson. Good, Charlie. Well, Kupp pop off today. Yeah, I think Cooper Kupp definitely has a really high ceiling today. Hunt or Gallman must win week. Definitely Hunt over Gallman. Ingram or Ertz? I would definitely, Jericho, good to see you again. Ingram. I would go Evan Ingram over Ertz. Both of them are in really, really iffy situations. The tight end position this year has just been absolutely brutal. And I've already gotten this question 5 times this morning. Cam Newton or Derek Carr? And it's a tough one because Derek Carr is coming off the worst game of the season. And Cam Newton all of a sudden popping up questionable with an abdominal injury. Is that going to limit his rushing ability? It's possible. I'd probably lean Derek Carr. What are your thoughts on Michael Thomas? I think Michael Thomas is settling in as a risky wide receiver too, with Taysom Hill at quarterback. And I think that you can start him in some situations, but most of the start questions I'm seeing with Michael Thomas, I'm saying no to. What's up, Sam? How's it going? It's going great, man. Thanks for asking. I'm doing fantastic. This is my favorite day of the week, Sunday, week 13, the week before the fantasy playoffs. I am soaking it in, man, because before we know it, NFL season is going to be over, and then we'll be looking forward to the next season. So I'm doing fantastic, man. Thanks for asking. Start 2, Gibson or Montgomery. I would probably go with Antonio Gibson over David Montgomery. Devontae Booker or Jonathan Taylor. I do like Booker as a high-end wide receiver running back too this week. They always ask who Walter, never how's Walter. Zach, good point, man. And Zach, my name is actually Sam. It's a classic misconception. I did not name the brand after myself. I named it after the algorithm that I built, whose name is Walter. Uses artificial intelligence to project fantasy football more accurately than anything else that's out there. And since you guys are on the live morning show, I'll be live right up until 1:00 today. I'll be going hard for a while. Yarshma, how's it going, man? Good to see you. And so you're going to get to be here while I'm submitting my last DraftKings lineups because I had a very busy week, didn't get to submit all of the lineups that I usually do. So I'll be putting in some DK lineups in the morning part of the show. Corey Davis or Crowder? I'd go Corey Davis at this point. Hey, Sam, Lamar or Kirk? If you win, you clinch. Do I risk Lamar? Holden, I think it's okay going Kirk Cousins in that situation. I think Kirk Cousins is a great play today. I do like Lamar a lot too. We have Lamar ranked ahead of Kirk Cousins, but I'm okay going with Kirk Cousins, though we can be pretty confident that Lamar is going to play. There's like a 95% chance Lamar Jackson plays. Hill or Stafford? Oh, I'd probably go Taysom Hill. Good morning, everyone. Appreciate everyone that's tuned in. The early morning squad. I'll be live up until 1 o'clock. I will be live for 4 straight hours. You got to come back because as we come closer and closer to 1 o'clock, you got to come back and tell me if I'm true by saying this. I gain energy throughout the morning, and as we get closer to 1 o'clock, you'll come back at 1. I'll probably be screaming into the mic, yelling at people to start Julio Jones, to start Raheem Mostert. I think you got to start Justin Jefferson if you have him. James White or Benny Snell. I think I saw someone message me about this one actually in the DMs too. I don't think you can trust Benny Snell at all. McFarland got a lot of that work. So I would be going James White there. With Rex Burkhead out too, we've seen James White get a lot of red zone touches. He's the primary receiving back for the Patriots now. Noah, how's it going? Picking one. Jacoby Myers, James White, or Brown. Jacoby Myers has really let me down over the last couple of weeks, but I think I would still go Jacoby Myers in that situation. Thoughts on MT for playoffs? Edward, I think Michael Thomas is settling in as a solid wide receiver 2 option. I think that he obviously has some risk with Taysom Hill, but he also is seeing an insane target share. There was a game where he had 50% of Taysom Hill's targets. That is unheard of in the NFL. That is not a thing that happens. Hayden Rappaport, no problem, man. Tua or Phillips? I don't think you can trust Tua today. I want nothing to do with Tua in terms of fantasy. Is the Giants defense legit? Still trying to ask. No, I don't think the Giants defense is that legit. Did they have had some better performances than we were expecting? I think I was underrating them, but I don't think they're legit by any means. Thoughts on Gaskin for this week? I think Myles Gaskin is a high-end running back too. I think he has a very realistic path to 20 touches. And if you've been following me with this Gaskin situation from the beginning, I've been saying I'm not sure Myles Gaskin's the type of player who will come back and just step right into his role. But the Dolphins really don't have much of a chance, much of a choice today. Myles Gaskin's going to see at least 20 touches against a not very good Bengals defense. I do think Gaskin is a solid option in both DFS and season-long leagues. So who's your QB this week? Zach, my QB this week, I love Kirk Cousins. I'm going Kirk Cousins in this DFS lineup I'm making now. I have Kirk Cousins in this lineup stacked. I think you got to make some lineups on DraftKings with Kirk Cousins stacked with both Jefferson and Thielen. And then you can stack them with DJ Chark, who DJ Chark has upside and will probably be pretty low owned in DFS. Zeke or Harris? I would go Zeke. Thoughts on Mitch Trubisky or Josh Allen this week? Yeah, I love Devin. You're thinking the right way because Mitch Trubisky is a legit option this week. Mitch Trubisky has 4 straight games throwing 3+ touchdowns against the Lions. 4 straight games he's thrown over three or more touchdowns against the Lions. And I think it's going to happen again today. Though obviously we're still talking about Mitch Trubisky. He comes with risk. Anytime you're putting him in your starting lineup, you're not going to feel good. I don't think you can be playing him over a guy like Kyler, who clearly has been hobbled by injury. But you can't be playing Mitch Trubisky over Kyler. You're just overthinking it at that point. And who is the original QB you asked about? Let's see. Yeah, I would go Josh Allen over Trubisky too. Can I trust Julio today or play it safe? I do think you can trust Julio today. I think anytime Julio is playing, guys, Julio every single snap really that he's been out there on the field, he's been balling out. He's number 3 in the NFL in yards per route run. And when he's on the field and he says he's healthy enough to play, I believe him. I think you have to be starting him. I don't think you should be second guessing Julio Jones. That's just going to be a bad way to end your fantasy season. Gibson or Hines? I would go Gibson. Gurley or Crowder or Kirk? I would probably rank those guys, Mayor, as Crowder, then Kirk, then Gurley. I don't trust Gurley at all. Hines or Gurley? I would go Hines. You trust Allen or Watson more this week and rest of season? I I trust Josh Allen more this week and rest of season. I think Deshaun Watson's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL talent-wise, but the loss of Will Fuller will impact him. It absolutely will. And I haven't seen many questions about this guy yet, but I'm plugging him into my DFS lineup right now as we speak, and that is Miles Sanders. Guys, Miles Sanders is going to have his best game of the season today. You heard it here. A lot of people are nervous and panicking about Miles Sanders. He really has been a huge bust in fantasy this season, but he's up against the Packers, allowing the second most fantasy points per game to the running back position. And he is playing 65% or more of the snaps for the Eagles every single week. I think Miles Sanders is going to be an absolute smash play today. And since he hasn't been doing great, I think he's going to be pretty low owned on DraftKings. I'm back, Sam. Taysom Hill or Goff? I would go Goff over Taysom Hill, man. Thanks for coming back. And guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. It really does help us out a ton. It takes 2 seconds. And if you're not subscribed yet, definitely subscribe on YouTube. We've been crushing the YouTube game recently. We got into the YouTube game just like 2 weeks ago. And here we are with already almost 1,600 YouTube subscribers. It's been a lot of fun. Pick two, Latavius Murray, Hawkinson, and Waller. I would probably go Lat Murray and Waller there. I think we got to keep going back to the well with Darren Waller. He's going to pay off in DFS eventually. He's seeing some of the most deep targets per game at the tight end position, at a position that is just so hard this season, the tight end position. I do think Darren Waller still is a top 5 tight end in fantasy football. And Miles Sanders is in almost every single one of my DFS lineups today. It's a risky move, but again, if you know me well, I like to take risks in life. That's why I risked every dollar I had to build a business. It's why I'm playing Miles Sanders in DFS this week. It's also why I'm okay tossing out Julio Jones in some lineups. Thoughts on Zeke or Amari? Who do I start? I would probably go Zeke over Amari. AJ Brown or Terry McLaurin? 2 receivers I do not want to have to decide between. I would probably lean AJ Brown today, but I like both a lot. I think AJ Brown's going to be a league winner in fantasy. Do you think the Browns have a chance to beat the Titans this week? Yeah, they definitely have a chance, but their secondary without Denzel Ward, I think that the Titans are probably going to win that game. Why Goff over Hill? I think Taysom Hill could struggle today. He's playing the Falcons for the second time in 3 weeks, and the offense is going to become more and more predictable for defenses. Taysom Hill is going to have to be able to throw the ball in this game, and the Falcons defense low-key has been way, way better than they were in the first half of the season. The Falcons defense is a top 10 defensive unit now. And I don't think the public has really caught up to that. That's why I think the Falcons are going to beat the Saints today. And it's why I'm kind of off of Taysom Hill in fantasy. I think he's doing great. He's gotten you 4 rushing touchdowns in 2 weeks. I hope you enjoyed those, but I don't think this is the week for Taysom Hill. That's why. And I think Jared Goff is in a pretty good spot today too. Jared Goff against, I think Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are pretty good options too. They're up against the Arizona Cardinals, who that game is going to be played at a really fast pace. 2 of the fastest paced games. Yeah, Lamar is going to play. I am pretty confident that Lamar Jackson's going to be out there. I do like the Miami Dolphins Myles Gaskin stack in DFS, though the Dolphins are the highest priced defense in DraftKings, which makes it tough. Can you trust CEH today? No, you can't trust CEH any days anymore. No days of trust for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And it's sad for me to say. How's Watson going to do today? I think he's going to do well. Pick one bad option at flex. Gordon, Jalen Richard, or Hooper? I'd go Gordon. Yeah, it's a bad option, though. Ruben, good luck with that one. Morning, Sam. Good morning, Zach. How's it going, everyone? Week 13 of the NFL. I am pumped for Week 13. Do you think Lockett is better than Amari to start? Yeah, I do. I think Lockett has more upside. Jarvis Landry, Deebo Samuel, or Brandon Ayuk? Aiden, it's for sure Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel, guys, came back. He played 90% of the snaps for the 49ers. He saw 13 targets, one of the best yards after the catch receivers in the league. Deebo Samuel is a wide receiver 2+ now in fantasy football. He should be in your starting lineups. Keenan Allen versus Gilmore. Is he still a starter? Noah, I'm not sure Gilmore will shadow Keenan Allen or not. I think he will be covering him for most of the game. And that is a reason to be concerned about Keenan Allen, but I do still think you can start Keenan because I don't think the way that they've been using Gilmore this season for the Pats, I don't think he's going to be shadowing him the whole game. Beasley or Harris? I would go Beasley. I think Cole Beasley, guys, is a great bounce back sleeper play. A lot of people were on him as a sleeper this past week, and Cole Beasley did not produce for you, but I think that he can this week. I think Cole Beasley is going to end up with over 10 fantasy points. Hey, Sam, non-PPR, Akers or Crowder? I'd probably go Crowder, but it's close. It's very close. Jameson, elite. Crowder has really let us down over the last few games. Yes, guys, Lamar Jackson is going to play. Almost certainly he's going to play. I hope we're all excited for week 13. And again, guys, I'm going to be live all the way up to 1 o'clock. You got to come back because as the show goes on, I gain more and more energy. And if you're watching live on YouTube right now, appreciate every one of you. I'm going to try to get to every single one of your questions. Hit that like button, though. Helps us out a ton. Just 2 seconds. Hit that like button. Good morning. Good morning, Mayor. How's it going? Ridley or Mostert? I'd probably go Ridley, but Mostert's a safer option. Gaskin, Gibson, or Deontay? Gaskin, Gibson, or Deontay? I'd go get Gaskin and Deontay. I think Gaskin's a great option. Great option today. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, guys, we're almost at 1,600 YouTube subscribers. We'll probably pass that today. We've only been on YouTube for a couple of weeks, so very exciting. I've been up since 4 a.m. waiting for the stream. I don't know how you do it every week. Tarico, this is one of my favorite times of the whole week. Possibly my favorite 4 hours of the week is right now, and I get to just talk to all of you and just sit back and talk some football, man. I love talking about football. Watch every Sunday, man. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. I've had a ton of fun this season, and I'm sad that the season's starting to come to an end. But the fantasy season is not over yet. It is not over yet, and this is the most important part of the season. So it's a fun time right now. It's going to be over before we know it, though. We got to enjoy every moment. How do you feel about Miles Sanders? I love Miles Sanders this week, guys. I'm all in on Miles Sanders this week. I have him in DFS. I think he's going to have his best game of the season today against the Packers defense that has really struggled to stop running backs, allowing the second most fantasy points per game to the running back position. I'm all in on Miles Sanders. And unfortunately, if you drafted Miles Sanders, you probably aren't heading towards the fantasy playoffs. But if you are, if you do have Sanders, I think he's going to help you get into the playoffs if you're still in the hunt. And I do love him in DFS today too. Lamar or Josh Allen? I'd go Lamar. Yes, Johnny, it is stupid. It is stupid to bench DeAndre Hopkins for Michael Pittman. I don't care that he's going up against Jalen Ramsey. He's still DeAndre Hopkins. You got to play your studs. Don't overthink the matchup. Does Zeke still have high value? And if so, who should I trade him for? Now, he doesn't have that high of value because, once again, the whole Dallas Cowboys offensive line is dead. They're all injured. It's just brutal for Zeke this season. Finally, the offensive line came back. He had a great game, and then first drive, 2 offensive linemen go down. And in my week, guys, in my week I schedule out, I make sure I rewatch every single game. And if I have extra time, I'll go back and watch specific games again. And that Cowboys game, if you go back and watch the Cowboys game, the offensive line just gives them no chance with all the injuries they have. They have no chance on offense. Hey, Sam, for the flex, should I play Latavius Murray or Frank Gore? For sure, Latavius Murray. Thoughts on AB? Antonio Brown? Yeah, I think he's still has the league-winning upside. Obviously, the Bucs are on bye this week, though. I already have Dalvin Cook and Eckler at running backs. Who should I start at flex? Mostert or Gaskin? Really close one for me this week. I would lean towards Myles Gaskin. I would argue that Mostert has more upside just with his breakaway speed, but I like Gaskin as the safer play. I think Gaskin could see 20-plus touches today. I don't think Patrick Laird's going to be very involved, and those are the only 2 running backs available for the Miami Dolphins. So I do like him today. I think Myles Gaskin's a high-end running back too. Where's the love for Andy Isabella for DFS? Yeah, Andy Isabella was a great value play for us last week at minimum price, and I think he's got upside again this week. I'm okay with Andy Isabella in DFS. I got your app, Ben. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you haven't downloaded the WalterPicks app yet on the iOS App Store, I've spent over 400 hours building this app. I've spent over 3 years building the projections that power the app. They use artificial intelligence to give the most accurate projections that you will find in the world. So definitely check out the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. I also recently gave everyone 20 free start-sit comparisons to help you out in the playoffs. Will Waller go off today? I think Darren Waller has a pretty good chance of going off today, yes. And I will be having, I will have a few lineups in DraftKings tournaments with Derek Carr, Henry Ruggs, and Darren Waller, because I think there's a chance that they bounce back today. I also think there's a chance that they continue their descent after their worst game of the season, and that the New York Jets get their first win of the season. I think this is one of the last games that the Jets have a chance at winning it. And so this is going to be big in terms of, will the Jets have a win this season? I think this is one of their last chance. How do you feel about Kamara this week? I'm nervous about him for sure. He's got -2 receiving yards over the last 2 weeks. By far the worst numbers he's had in his season, in his career over a 2-week span. They really are just not using him in the receiving game, though I do still like him more than Latavius Murray. Gio or James White? I would go James White. Tyler Lockett or Deontay Johnson? I'd go Deontay Johnson. Carson Wentz or Mitch? I'd probably go Mitch. I don't trust Carson Wentz at all. Hey, Sam, can we trust Goddard? Yeah, you can, as much as you can trust any tight end, because the tight ends this season are just a complete dumpster fire. Kamara or Gallman? I'd go Kamara. Kamara is just so much better than Gallman at football that I can't get myself to start. I can't get myself to start Gallman over Kamara. Walter says Gibson over Gaskin. Let me see if this Gaskin projection is updated. I understand Gibson over Gaskin, though I'm also okay starting Gaskin over Gibson. Like I think that Gaskin has a chance to touch the football more than Antonio Gibson does this week, and he has a better matchup. So I'm okay going with Myles Gaskin. And I just updated the projection for Myles Gaskin in the app. If you close the app and open it again, you should see an updated. We have him projected for 14 PPR points. Sam, how's your day so far? It's fantastic, man. I've been up since 4:30 in the morning, finishing my fantasy research, my NFL research for the day. Jared, this is my favorite day of the week. Always is during football season. This has always been true for me, really, since I was very young. Football Sundays, the best day of the week, Jared. So I'm doing fantastic, man. Pick 3: Deontay, Gibson, Sanders, Montgomery. I would go Deontay, Sanders, and Montgomery there. I think all 3 of those guys are going to be very good this week. Gaskin or Montgomery? I think both of them are good options. I think Gaskin is a little bit riskier than David Montgomery. Flex PPR: Connor, Booker, Landry, Debo. App says Landry. Interesting. I don't think I would say Landry there. I would probably go Debo Samuel. And let me take a peek at what the app has Debo Samuel projected at. I think I would go Debo Samuel over Jarvis Landry. It's really close in the app, it looks like. But Debo Samuel, guys, he saw 13 targets last week. Oh, it still says Debo Samuel's on IR. Fix that one. I think I would go Debo Samuel. I really like Debo Samuel this week. One of the best yards after the catches. Is DK top 10? I don't have DK Metcalf in my top 10 personally, but I do think you can very much have an argument for him being in the top 10. I think I have him ranked at 12. And I think that if we didn't see him with Russell Wilson, we would really know. But because he plays with Russell Wilson, I'd rank him at 12. Hey, Sam, premium sub here. Michael, thank you so much, guys. The premium subscribers in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store, it's only, $5 a month, I think, for the annual subscription. Really appreciate it, Michael. The premium subscribers in the app, they are really what keeps us going and brings me every single premium subscriber, Michael, brings me one step closer to a dream come true of doing this full time. So thanks so much. Pick 2 for my flex spots: Pittman, Judy, Lazard, James White. If I win, I'm going to make it into the playoffs. You have 100 more points for than them. All right, I would probably go Pittman and Judy out of those guys. I think that those guys are going to give you the most upside there. AJ Brown or Gaskin? I'd probably go AJ Brown. I refuse to bench AJ Brown. AJ Brown's a must start at this point. Ridley or Julio Jones? That's a tough one every single week. I would probably lean towards Calvin Ridley just because of the Julio injury, Duffy, but both of them are really good options. I'm starting both of them in every league I have them. Calvin Ridley or Mostert? I'd go Ridley, but both of them good options. Cousins against the Jags or Lamar against Dallas? I like Jonah. I like both of them a lot this week. I think both of them are going to go over 20 fantasy points. I would probably lean towards Lamar, though. I think Lamar's giving you the best floor ceiling combo there, and I am pretty confident he's playing. Crowder or Parker? I'd go Devontae Parker at this point, and it's sad for me to say that Jameson Elite Crowder needs to be sent to the bench because Adam Gase just ruins everything. That's all it is. Start 2, Debo, Woods, or Kupp. I would go Debo and Kupp there. Best running back for this week. I think the number 1 running back, it has to be either Dalvin Cook, it has to be Derrick Henry, or it has to be Nick Chubb. One of those 3 guys is going to be the top running back this week. One of them is probably going to rush for 2+ touchdowns. And Alexander Madison is out. So even though Dalvin Cook's nursing an injury, I think he's going to see his normal workload. Ridley or Carson, I'd probably go with Calvin Ridley. I don't think you can bench Ridley or Julio today. Ruggs, Rashad Higgins. I would go Ruggs over Rashad Higgins. I think Ruggs has some upside. He played 70% of the snaps for the Raiders. That was a huge uptick from his previous weeks. Ruggs, I think they're trying to get more and more involved. Let's go, Cook. Yeah, Dalvin Cook is going to try to lead you to a fantasy championship. We'll see if he can do it. Sit 1, Diggs, Julio, McLaren, A-Rob, David Johnson. Definitely David Johnson if you got to sit one of those guys. And if you're watching live on YouTube, guys, thank you so much. Hit that like button. Helps us out a ton. Takes 2 seconds. And if you're watching on TikTok, you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, you got to go do that. We got almost 1,600 YouTube subscribers. We started that YouTube channel just a couple of weeks ago. Thielen, Gaskin, or Kupp, I would probably go with Thielen out of those guys. I don't think you can be benching Adam Thielen or Justin Jefferson. Marino, good morning, man. CEH or Dobbins, Allen or Herbert? I would probably go Allen and Dobbins out of those choices. Parker or Davis? Close one for me this week. I really like Corey Davis this week. I do think that you probably should go with Devontae Parker just with how much he was getting targeted last week, though we have to remember, it looks like Tua, which I did not think Tua was going to be starting this week, looks like Tua is going to be starting. And that is a bad thing, I think, for Devontae Parker based on how much Ryan Fitzpatrick was targeting him. So you can make the argument for Corey Davis over Devontae Parker. I think I just talked myself into it with Corey Davis over Devontae Parker. Tannehill or Herbert? I love Tannehill today. I think you got to go Tannehill. Julio or Justin Jefferson? Oh, hoity-toity. Good to see you again, man. I think I would probably be going with Justin Jefferson, but it's very close. And I want to be starting both of them. And I am starting both of them in DraftKings lineups today. In this DraftKings lineup I just made, I'm feeling pretty good about. Let me pull it up here. I think I might have lost it. Here it is. In this DraftKings lineup, I'm banking on a bounce back week from the Las Vegas Raiders against a horrible Jets team. And Denzel Mims and Perriman, by the way, we kind of know what that Jets offense is. The Jets offense, this is their entire game plan. It is either run it up the middle with Frank Gore for 2 yards or 3 yards, or just bomb it deep to Rashad Perriman or Denzel Mims. They're actually throwing some of the most deep attempts per game in the NFL to Perriman and Mims. It's really cut out Jameson, Lee, Crowder from their playbook, which is not a smart thing for them to be doing, but it does make Mims and Perriman interesting options in DFS. In DFS today, guys, I do really like Miles Sanders, and I do really, really like Myles Gaskin as well. I think Gaskin's going to see 20+ touches of the football today. And I'm going to get to your questions in just a moment. I'm going to try to get to as many possible questions as I can. I know this is a big, big day for us in fantasy football. I really do like Corey Davis today, though. I think Corey Davis is a must start. I think he's a great option in DFS as well. Pick 2, Swift, Aaron Jones, or Gaskin. I think Swift is not playing. Swift is out. That was an update I saw this morning. DeAndre Swift is out again, so he's out of your lineup. So that makes that an easy choice for you. And I appreciate everyone watching live on YouTube. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. Helps us out a ton. If you're watching live on TikTok, good morning. I appreciate you. Play all the miles and you will be smiling. Jeffrey, that is 100% true, man. That is good advice from you this week, Jeffrey. Start Miles Sanders. I'm telling you. I know he's had a bad season. He's got an amazing matchup. He's playing 65% plus snaps for the Eagles. He's seeing consistent volume on the ground. He's also one of the more talented running backs in the NFL. That has not changed. Miles Sanders is one of the only running backs ever to, in his rookie season, have over 500 receiving yards and 500 rushing yards. The other types of guys that have done that are like the Saquon Barkley types of players, the Christian McCaffrey types of players. Miles Sanders could very well be in that tier of talent at the running back position. The Eagles have obviously been complete trash this season, and that has brought him down a lot. But I do still think that you got to be trusting Miles Sanders today. And I have him in almost all of my DFS lineups. Josh Reynolds, by the way, is also a guy that is really starting to get more involved in that Rams offense. He's very much in consideration on DFS this week, too. Miles Sanders, Raheem Mostert, I would go Sanders there, but I do like both of them. Goddard or Tonian? I would probably go Goddard over Tonian, even with the return of Zach Ertz. I think Goddard still has some of the highest upside in the league at the tight end position. Did you guys hear that on YouTube? Does the app have an option to compare players in non-PPR? Yeah, Johnny, you can change the scoring settings. In the top right, you can change the scoring settings in the app. Matt Ryan or Mitch Trubisky? I would probably go with Matt Ryan, but it's close. I think Trubisky's going to throw for 3 TDs today. He's done it against the Lions 4 consecutive times that he's played them. Gaskin or Sanders? I'd go Sanders. I think Sanders is a running back 1. I think thanks, Marino. I think that Sanders is a running back 1 and that Myles Gaskin is a high-end running back 2 today. That's where we have them ranked in the WalterPicks app, and I think that I'm pretty comfortable with those rankings. Gibson or Mostert or Zeke start 2. I would probably start Mostert and Zeke out of those guys. Gibson, it does have a really tough matchup against the Steelers. iOS for the win. Yeah, Johnny. We're coming to Android. We are coming to Android. It'll be there by next season. Julio or David Johnson? And Walter, we trust. Holden, 100% it's Julio Jones. You got to trust Julio Jones. Chiefs defense or Raiders defense? Charlie, I would probably go with the Raiders defense. They're playing Adam Gase. And I know they haven't played well, but the Adam Gase factor is huge. And so I'm okay playing the Raiders defense. And I think in our DraftKings favorites this week in the WalterPicks app, we have the Raiders defense in there. And my explanation was just Adam Gase, period. That was the whole explanation. That's all the explanation you need to like the Raiders today. And I know one of my bold predictions was that the Jets get their first win today. I'm not expecting it. I do think it's possible. I do think that the Jets can get their first win, but most realistically, they're just going to be awful. Again, I really need a QB to give me 20. My choices are Goff, Hill, Mitch, Jericho. Most likely, all 3 of those guys will go over 20 points. I would probably go with Jared Goff, though. I think he's the safest bet there. Juju or Gaskin? I would go Gaskin over Juju this week. Zeke or Hines? I would go Zeke for sure. That's on J.K. Dobbins this week. Yeah, I do like J.K. Dobbins. Thoughts on J.K. Dobbins? Yeah, I do like J.K. Dobbins this week. Mark Ingram's back, but Dobbins was already taking over that lead role in that offense before Mark Ingram was out. I think J.K. Dobbins is a pretty solid running back too with upside and one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL. Pick 2, Ayuk, Pittman, Mims. I would probably go with Pittman and Mims there. I think Ayuk's floor is a lot lower now with Deebo Samuel. Gibson or Amari? I would go Amari. I don't love Antonio Gibson this week against a good Steelers defense. Fulgham or Hilton? Yuck. I would probably go with Hilton. Honestly, I just don't think you can trust Fulgham at all at this point. I would probably be going with T.Y. Hilton, who has been still pretty involved in the offense. Gaskin or Booker? I like Gaskin more than Booker. I like both of them, though, as running back 2s this week. I'd go Kirk Cousins over Cam Newton. I think Kirk Cousins is for sure going over 20 points. If I start Jefferson, do I start Julio over Booker? Yeah, I'm definitely starting Julio Jones over Devin Booker. Dobbins or DeAndre Hopkins? I would go DeAndre Hopkins, and I know he's up against Jalen Ramsey. You have reason for concern, but I still think you got to love DeAndre Hopkins. He's still a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. He still is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I don't think you should overreact to his matchup. Trey Burton or Kyle Rudolph? I would go Kyle Rudolph. Love your content, Garrett. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And if you do love the content, you got to subscribe on YouTube. You got to hit that like button on the live stream on YouTube as well. Really do appreciate that. And I'm going to be live, guys. I've been live for 45 minutes already, and I'm going to be live all the way up until 1 o'clock Eastern time when the football games start. This is the best day of the week. Football Sunday. It's my favorite day of the week. You'll see my energy start to increase more and more as the show comes on. If you leave, come back around 1 o'clock. I promise you, I'm probably going to be screaming into the mic, telling people to start Julio Jones, telling people to start Raheem Mostert, telling people how much I love Corey Davis this week. And yeah, I'm definitely starting Davis over Fulgham and Slayton, whoever just asked that one. I will be live until 1 o'clock. And when you come back at 1, tell me if I was right. Is my energy higher? You got to let me know. Will Henry reach 2,000 yards? That is a good one. Let's see where Henry is at right now. Derrick Henry, guys, is about to set one of the most historic back-to-back seasons that we've ever seen. He's going to be the first running back since Barry Sanders, knock on wood that he can stay healthy for the rest of the season, but he's going to be the first running back since not know the next time that we will see a running back do that. Sustaining that type of elite rushing ability in back-to-back seasons is insanely hard to do. And I don't think Derrick Henry has 5 games left. He currently has 1,250 rushing yards. So some quick math, he's going to have to get like 200 yards a game. I don't think he's going to do that. 1,600 subs. Zach, let's go, man. And the people that have been with us from the beginning, like they know 2 weeks ago, we had 0 YouTube subscribers. And now we're at 1,600. It's been a lot of fun. Your Isabella pick last week stunk. Well, it actually didn't stink that much last week on DFS because on DFS, he was priced so low that he actually still returned 3x value with his limited volume. Though in season long, he definitely did struggle. So I do think Isabella was a little bit of a disappointment. I already see your energy level going up as we go along. Yeah, Dorico, that's definitely true. Mitch Trubisky over 1.5 TDs, minus 130. I love that. Yeah, I definitely think he's going over 1.5 touchdowns. That's not the line that I'm getting. I like that one a lot. That's definitely not the line that I was getting. I think the line I was getting was 3. Schultz or Reed? Oh, Luis, tight ends are such a dumpster fire this season. I would probably go with Reed over Schultz, but both of them are going to need a touchdown to do anything. Premium sub, Chark or Corey Davis? Mike, I would argue that Corey Davis is much safer, much safer. And that DJ Chark probably has more touchdown upside than Corey Davis as the number 1 receiver in his offense against a pretty bad Viking secondary. But I would probably lean towards Corey Davis over Chark in season-long leagues. In tournaments on DFS, maybe I would lean Chark, but otherwise I think I'm liking Corey Davis more than Chark this week. Cooper or Samuel? I like Cooper for sure. Guys, Amari Cooper does have more upside than Curtis Samuel, even though Curtis Samuel has been on a pretty good tear over the last month. Lockett or Parker, must-win week. I would probably go Tyler Lockett. I think Tyler Lockett, I know he has risk, but he also has week-winning upside. He has 40-point upside tethered to Russell Wilson. So I do like Tyler Lockett. I'm okay going with Tyler Lockett. And this last DFS lineup I'm submitting before I'm done with the DFS lineups today, I had a busy week, so I didn't quite get to finish inputting my lineups for the day. This lineup, I'm going with Ryan Tannehill stacked with Corey Davis and A.J. Brown. And then I'm also going to take Jarvis Landry against them because this is going to be a very low-owned lineup. And I do think that the Titans, if they can run up the score, this game could actually become more pass-heavy than run-heavy, with 2 of the most run-heavy teams in the NFL. Miles Sanders, J.K. Dobbins, or Brandon Cooks? Just subscribed. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Cooper, thanks. Appreciate that, man. You helped get a playoff lock this year. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, man. And I do appreciate the subscription so much on YouTube. The subscriptions to the app really do keep us going. Aswart, thanks for being a subscriber. And guys, some of the usernames on TikTok really do make me laugh. Carr, Stafford, Taysom Hill, got to start 2. I would probably be going with Carr over all of those guys. Stafford's probably the safest. So I'd probably go Carr and Stafford. I don't trust Taysom Hill that much this week. I traded Fuller and Sterling Shepard for Crowder and Herbert last week before he got suspended. That's amazing. Pick 2, Darnell Mooney, DJ Chark, Fulgham, CeeDee Lamb, and Sammy Watkins. I'd probably go with DJ Chark and CeeDee Lamb out of all of those options. Start 3, Carter. Good to see you again, Carter. I would probably be starting Sanders, Devontae Booker. No, I would probably start Sanders, Alvin Kamara, and Raheem Mostert out of those options. I was the 998th subscriber. That's an OG, Carter. I appreciate you. Sterling Shepard or Jerry Jeudy? I would probably go Jerry Jeudy over Sterling Shepard, but it's close. Montgomery or Drake? I would lean David Montgomery, but both are good options. And we can't deny, guys, Kenyon Drake has been more and more involved in the passing game, which does raise his ceiling. Is CEH playing today? Yeah, Clyde is looking like he's going to play today, though he's still a very, very risky option. And I love Miles Sanders today. I know I've said it a bunch already on this live stream, but Miles Sanders played over 65% of the snaps for the Eagles. He's still one of the most talented running backs in the league, and he finally gets a good matchup against the Packers defense, allowing the second most fantasy points per game to the running back position this season. I really do think that Miles Sanders is a top 10 option at running back. And yeah, Devontae Booker is also a really good option this week against a horrible Jets defense. Though the Jets run defense has actually been one of their strongest points, he's going to see 15 to 20 touches in that offense, and that makes him very much worth a start. Lazard or Aguilar? I'd probably go Lazard there. And I'm just wrapping up my final DFS lineup. I do like the Falcons defense today against the Saints. I think they have sneaky upside. The Falcons defense has been much better than people realize over the last month, really. They've really turned it around on the defensive side of the ball. All right. Submitted this lineup. I will get back to as many questions as I can. Must win, Hilton or Perriman? I would go Perriman over Hilton. Perriman has pretty high upside, actually. They're throwing the ball deep a lot. Both Mims and Perriman are pretty good flex dart throws in DFS and in season-long leagues. Lamar or Watson? I'd go Lamar. Good morning, Joseph. Good to see you, man. I'm getting back to your questions. I'm going to go rapid fire on some of these questions on both YouTube. We're live on YouTube and TikTok right now. We got about 200 people tuned in. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can in the next 2 minutes. Lamar or Watson? I would go Lamar. Should I not start Kamara and start Booker or Snell? No, I think you can argue Booker over Kamara, but I would personally still be playing Kamara over Booker, and I want nothing to do with Benny Snell. Gibson or Hunt? Already checked the app. I would probably go with Hunt. I know Benjamin, the app might say Gibson, but the Steelers defense is very good at stopping the running back. Kamara, Mostert, Montgomery, Kupp. Nate, I would rank those guys as Mostert, Montgomery, Kupp, Kamara. Honestly, Kupp might be number one. I like the receiver upside, especially if it's PPR. What are your thoughts on Watson and Cooks? Yeah, Cody, I mean, Cooks is going to be in the wide receiver one upside conversation in fantasy for the rest of the season. Brandon Cooks is very clear number one target for Deshaun Watson now. He has tremendous upside, and that is very much a stack worth pursuing in DFS. Montgomery or Sanders? I'm going Sanders this week all the way. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, man. Start Julio or Kupp? Must win week. Jason, I'm okay starting Julio Jones this week. I think Kupp is the safer option. Julio Jones has more upside, Jason. So you got to decide. Are you going for the upside or are you going for the safety net? Because Cooper Kupp's the safety net. Julio Jones is the upside. Chark, Ayuk. I would probably go Chark over Ayuk. Hey, Sam, Lamar or Tannehill? I think Tannehill's a great option today, but I would probably still lean Lamar. Kyler, Murray, or Herbert? Oh, it's both tough options this week, Drew. I'd probably go Kyler. Hines or Taylor? I like Taylor more than Hines. Boyd or Ridley? I definitely like Ridley more than Boyd. Guys, you can't trust anyone on the Bengals offense anymore. And one of the best parts about watching on YouTube is that the chat is a lot less spammy. And I appreciate people not spamming in the chat. It makes it a better experience for everyone. Bears D or Dolphins? Debo or Davis? I would go Dolphins defense for sure. And I would probably still go Debo Samuel over Corey Davis, even though I do love Corey Davis. Taylor or David Johnson? I'd go Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor is more upside than David Johnson. Jeudy or Marvin Jones? Oh, that's a close one. I would probably go Jerry Jeudy. Start one, Taysom or Stafford? I don't like Taysom Hill that much this week, but I still think I like him more than Matthew Stafford. DFS lineup, Ryan Butts. You came for the right thing, Ryan, because DFS is where it's at. And the best part, honestly, the best part about daily fantasy sports, which is for those of you that don't know, is DraftKings and FanDuel, where you basically get to draft a new team every single week. The best part is, Ryan, that the fantasy season doesn't end until the NFL season ends, thanks to DFS. And that is one of my favorite reasons that I've gotten into DFS. And today, Ryan, I'm all in on Miles Sanders in DFS. I think Miles Sanders is a top 5 running back option this week. I also really do like Corey Davis in DFS at his price. Matt, good to see you. Great to see you, Matt. Always brings me a smile when I see you in the live chat, Matt, the OG original supporter of my fantasy content. What you liking today, Matt? Are you headed towards the playoffs, Matt? Good morning, man. Good morning. This is going to be a great day. Football Sunday, best day of the week, Matt. Matt, you got to hop into the YouTube live stream. It's a little less spammy in the chat, which is nice. I think you would like it. Shepard or Dobbins? Oh, Matt, that's a tough one, man. I think that Dobbins is probably the safer option, and I think I would make the argument that Sterling Shepard has more upside. And I do think it's hard for me to get behind anyone in that Giants offense without Daniel Jones playing, so I think I would lean Dobbins. How you feel about Mostert? I do like Raheem Mostert a lot today. I think Raheem Mostert has a lot of upside. Can I start Le'Veon hoping CEH won't play? Nope, don't do that. CEH is playing. No problem, Matt. Should I start Hill or Murray at QB? I would start Kyler Murray. Pick 2, Gaskin, Kamara, Aaron Jones. I would be going with Gaskin and Aaron Jones there. Oh, and it does not feel good. It does not feel good starting Myles Gaskin over Alvin Kamara. Did you give your full lineup for DraftKings? Yeah, I can give you one of my full lineups in just a second. Sterling Shepard did see 8 targets last week, but again, I don't trust that offense without Daniel Jones. What's up, Sam? How's it going, Zach? Gaskin, Booker, McLaren, Jefferson. Sit 1. I would probably sit Booker out of all of those guys. Zeke or Cam Akers? I would probably go Zeke. Do you like Gallman Jr.? Yeah, I've been probably too low on Gallman. He's seeing very consistent volume. He's the clear workhorse back for the New York Giants, though I will say that offense is really hard to like this week. So I think I think Gallman does still have that touchdown upside that we've seen the last few weeks. He scored a touchdown in each of his last 5 games. He has 6 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He's playing over 60% of the snaps, seeing 12 plus carries per game. Though once he does not score a touchdown, he's not going to be very good. Nate, good to see you, man. Love you too. Long time no see. Thanks for supporting the YouTube, Nate. If you haven't hit subscribe, Nate, hit that subscribe. Me and Nate go back a long time. Johnson or Claypool? I would probably be going Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson has still seen over 25% target share in every single healthy game he's played this season. There's very few wide receivers you can say that about. Very few. I think Deontay Johnson has been one of the best fantasy football picks this season. Gurley or Benny Snell? I do like Todd Gurley, but I think Benny Snell is probably the better option. I'm very nervous about Todd Gurley. Did I just say I do like Todd Gurley? I don't like Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley, the one concern about Todd Gurley this season, going into this season, was his knee. And now we see him pop up with a knee injury. It's not a good sign for him. I'm out on Todd Gurley for the rest of the season. If A-Rob doesn't play, should I put Booker or Gore at my flex? Booker. But I think A-Rob is playing. And yeah, I'm getting to that DraftKings lineup in just a second. I got to share this YouTube. I got to find how to get this link, but I will pull up my DraftKings lineup for you. I have a lot of Miles Sanders. I have a lot of Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, AJ Brown. I have Julio Jones mixed into some of my DFS lineups today. I have a lot. My most common quarterback stack though is the Kirk Cousins and Adam Thielen / Justin Jefferson stack. This is probably my favorite lineup of the day with this Kirk Cousins lineup. And in this lineup, I have Kirk Cousins at quarterback, Justin Jefferson, and DJ Chark. I like stacking Chark against the Vikings. Chark has really high touchdown upside, even with a horrible quarterback. And then Miles Sanders and Myles Gaskin, the 2 Miles, I'm riding hard in DFS today. Denzel Mims and Brashard Perriman, both options at flex. This lineup, I went with Denzel Mims. He's seeing consistent air yards. Darren Waller, I'm riding it again with Darren Waller. I'm going to keep pressing the Darren Waller button in DraftKings and FanDuel because he still has more upside than we've seen out of him this season. And then I'm going Corey Davis and Seahawks defense. I love Corey Davis in DFS this week. Hey, Sam, premium sub and subscribed on YouTube. Thanks so much, man. What's the deal with Galladay? I know they completely mishandled. It feels like this happens to like one player every season where they just lie to us about the injury reports. The coaches are just blatantly lying, or if they're not lying, they were just fully misinformed, because they were saying Golladay was week to week, likely to come back in 1 to 2 weeks, and he's now been out for, I think, over 4 weeks and with no sign of returning. Kenny Galladay's hip injury is a lot worse than they were leading us on to believe. So I do think Kenny Golladay, ended up being one of the biggest busts of the season. It was pretty disappointing because Kenny Golladay is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Top 10 when healthy. And I just saw a question of, should I bench Corey Davis because it could be raining? No, the rain should not scare you away in fantasy. The research that I have done, all the research that I've done, and I've done a bunch of statistical analysis on weather, and the only thing that has a statistically significant impact is wind over 25 miles an hour. Nothing else has a big impact. So don't overrate it. Honestly, it's an edge to just ignore the weather unless it's over 25 miles an hour. Who are you including in your DFS lineups this year? Well, DFS is a week by week game, Marcus. So I do like, but this week I got a lot of the Miles. I like Myles Gaskin and Miles Sanders a ton today. Could you name a few low end running back twos? Yeah, Zach, Myles Gaskin, Devontae Booker, David Montgomery. I think Wayne Gallman's in the low-end running back 2 conversation now. Subscribed on YouTube. Thanks, man. Carson or Booker, running back. I would probably lean Chris Carson over Booker, but both of them are pretty good. Marcus might be. No worries. Marcus, I do find myself playing a lot of the same guys in DFS, so it's okay. Subscribed on YouTube. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed on YouTube yet, you got to go do that. We're going to pass 1,600 YouTube subscribers in a little less than 3 weeks. It's been a great time on YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now too. And the chat is a little less spammy on YouTube, which is very fun. Michael, good to see you, man. Why do you say you don't want any part of Snell? He was 16 for 60 and 3 catches for 33. Yeah, let me pull up this Benny Snell stats for you as well. Because let me see if my initial judge reaction. And Benny Snell had more snaps than I think I realized in that game. 70% of the snaps for the Steelers last week, 16 carries. He totaled 93 yards. I think you're right. I think Benny Snell is a far, far superior option than I was realizing. Benny Snell is definitely, I forget who someone was asking me. I think it was Benny Snell versus Todd Gurley. I think I would probably be going Benny Snell over Todd Gurley. If he's playing 70% of the snaps for the Steelers, even though the Washington defense is very good, I do like Benny Snell. More than I think I was leading on to believe before. And in the WalterPicks app, we do have him projected for 9.7 points. He is going up against a Washington defense that ranks number 5 against running backs. So that's really the only concern with him. But thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, I think I was overlooking just how much he played. Running back 1 and 2, Zeke, Gallman, White, David Johnson, pick 2. Joseph, those are all pretty ugly options. I would probably go with those first 2, though. I don't trust David Johnson that much. Melvin Gordon or Todd Gurley, I'd probably go Gordon. I really don't trust Gurley against historically good Saints run defense. One of the best rushing defenses of all time. That's what the Saints have had this season. Elliot, good to see you, man. Lockett, Allen, Ridley, Jones, A.J. Brown. Those are all such good players. I would probably lean towards A.J. Brown and Calvin Ridley. I think those are going to be your highest upside options there. And you have a really good team, man. Good job. Montgomery or Gaskin. I would lean towards Montgomery, but both of them are very similar options. Carter. Hey, Sam, love your content. You're the best fantasy account on TikTok. Thanks, man. Would you pick up Giovanni, Ayuk, Higgins, and also for tight end, Gesicki or Font? Yeah, I like Font more than Gesicki long-term. And I don't really love any of those 3 guys you mentioned picking up. Ayuk probably has the most interesting upside, but with Deebo Samuel, I do think that Ayuk's floor is really lowered. Drew, thanks for being a premium subscriber, man. Appreciate that so much. In the WalterPicks app, if you haven't checked out the WalterPicks app yet on the iOS App Store, you got to go check that out. I spent over 400 hours building this app, and it's been pretty dominant this season. 68% accuracy on player prop bets. We've had our DFS lineup optimizer live for a month now. Those have been crushing it. Tyler, I know you've enjoyed the player prop picks. Got to start 2. Michael Thomas, Devontae Booker, Antonio Gibson, or Hines. I would probably be starting Devontae Booker and Michael Thomas out of those 2 guys. I hope that helps, man. Herbert or Lamar? I would go Lamar for sure. James White is a pretty decent flex pickup if he's available. Kirk or Watson? I like Kirk more than Watson this week for sure. What's up, Sam? Chris Carson or Raheem Mostert? I like Chris Carson more than Raheem Mostert. And guys, you can answer all your start-sit questions on the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store. You got to check it out if you haven't. I do like the non-start-sit questions, more the strategy, the DFS. the sports betting, the player prop questions. I like those a little bit more because I did build an app that can give you a lot of the information you need to make your start sit questions. Is Tannehill a good stream this week? Yeah, he definitely is a good stream. Ryan Tannehill, Mitch Trubisky, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, all of them on the streaming radar this week. I would probably rank them in that order. Who do I start at QB? Lamar, Carr, or Hill? I would start Lamar for sure. I think you got to be starting Lamar. Derek Carr or Lamar Jackson? I'd go Lamar. Would you trade Woods for Deontay? Yes, 100%. Martin, it's coming on Google Play, and it's going to be on Android by next season, I promise. Lock of the week. Joseph, my lock of the week, and this is a risky one given on how he's performed this season, is Miles Sanders. I really do like Miles Sanders a lot. App says Chris Carson over Aaron Jones this week. Why? I think Chris Carson, let's pull up the Chris Carson stats that Walter's reading in. I assume it has Aaron Jones ranked very high as well. But Chris Carson is playing against the Giants, and that is probably the reason for Chris Carson being ranked ahead of Aaron Jones. And I think that the app is also expecting Chris Carson. Chris Carson only played 40% of snaps last week for the Seahawks, his lowest of the season in any healthy game that he's played, and that it should increase as he goes on and gets more healthy. But I honestly would probably be playing Aaron Jones over Chris Carson. Leave one out. Sanders, Lockett, Booker, Gibson. I would probably leave out Gibson there. Damian Harris or CEH? Yuck. I would go Damian Harris. Do you think McCaffrey will play week 14? I'm not so sure. They're kind of eliminated from playoff contention, which is not a good thing for them, which to me is a concern. And are you sure that Aaron Jones is ranked below Chris Carson? Because what I'm seeing here, it looks like Carson is below Aaron Jones. I could be wrong, though. Yeah, it does look like we have Chris Carson ranked below Aaron Jones this week. Hyde starting today. He's playing, Kobe, but I don't think we would use the word start. I think Chris Carson's for sure going to start over him. Jefferson over under 70.5 receiving yards. I'm always saying Jefferson over, man. Jefferson's one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's been the most efficient wide receiver in the league in terms of yards per route run and yards per target. Hey, Sam, I love your app, and you have the best fantasy TikTok. Thanks, man. Should I start Miles Sanders or A.J. Brown? Tough choice. I want to start both of them, and I would probably lean towards A.J. Brown, but I really do think Miles Sanders has top 5 upside at the running back position this week. I gave 5 stars and I'm a friend of Will Sully. Good to see you, Alex. Jarvis or Damian Harris? I'd probably go Jarvis. What are your thoughts on Michael Thomas with Hill still at QB? I don't love Michael Thomas this week that much. I think that the Falcons defense is much, much improved. And the only reason to be starting Michael Thomas is the insane target share he's seeing with Taysom Hill. The problem is Taysom Hill's just still not throwing that much. So I have Michael Thomas as a wide receiver 2, a risky wide receiver 2. Is it time to cut Travis Fulgham? Yeah, Nick. Unfortunately, it is that time. He looked like he was going to be one of the best waiver wire pickups of the season, and he was for a while. He was averaging top 6 fantasy points per game for a while this season for like a month span, but now it's just too much to be trusting Travis Fulgham. Jacob, my playoff start today, so should I start Beasley or Pittman at flex? I like Beasley as a sleeper this week a lot. I'd play him over Pittman and Gesicki because I have to start him. Yeah, I like Gesicki. I think Gesicki's seeing pretty consistent targets with the Dolphins. I'm struggling with who to trade for. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, or Godwin. I like Cooper Kupp and Godwin. Highlight Central from TikTok. Good to see you, man. I need a bounce back prop after that Rieger loss. What do you got for me, brother? Yeah, Hemi. We're going to be giving away the free player prop pick of the week at 11 o'clock. So you got to make sure you're tuning back in for that. We missed on Jalen Rieger. We missed on Jamison Elite Crowder, though I am feeling very confident about the prop pick this week. We are still 10 for 13 giving away free player prop picks this season. That's a very high percentage. Someone can calculate that percentage for me. It's a very high percentage. So I'm feeling good about the free prop pick of the week this week as well. Kareem Hunt or Kenyon Drake? Kareem Hunt or Kenyon Drake? I would probably go Kenyon Drake. I have a feeling it's Gaskin yards. I do like Gaskin, though I actually haven't seen at least on my book, let me actually look this up because I haven't seen the Gaskin prop yet. There's sometimes they take a long time when there's injuries to post them because these books try to be very cautious, though they post some horrible lines. That's why we've had 68% accuracy over the last 2 years and over 190 picks. We're going to be hitting our 200th prop pick with Walter next week, I believe, which is going to be a very exciting milestone. Let me pull up what's the line on Myles Gaskin today. Rushing yard line on Myles Gaskin, 72 yards. That's how confident the books are in Myles Gaskin. That's pretty high line, higher than I probably would have expected. Newton or Tannehill? I like Tannehill over Newton today for sure. And guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. Do I leave Oh my God, we got someone that still has Taysom Hill in their tight end slot, even if I have Eckler on my bench. What, so you can't? Oh, that's a weird situation where you can't put Eckler into your lineup because you have Taysom Hill at tight end. I think that you should probably just take Taysom Hill out of your tight end slot at that point. Would you say Nyheim Hines and Marvin Jones for Cooper Kupp is a good trade? Yes, that's definitely a good trade. Taylor or Shepard? I would lean towards Taylor just because without Daniel Jones, it's hard to trust anyone in that Giants offense. Chark or Miles Sanders? Definitely Miles Sanders. Guys, Miles Sanders, top 5 upside. The Eagles activate Jordan